that's nice. Oh, that's nice.
Hey everyone, welcome to Sports Shorts and More. This is our second in live studio audience.
Yes, it is.
As far as guests being here today.
It's growing.
It is growing. Today we have Judy, and we've got Michael, we've got Melvin, we've got Larry, and we've got Tony. And thank you all for being here with us. We're gonna talk a little sports today. I'm gonna throw out one life lesson
Okay.
today.
All right, good.
And we've got a little bit of trivia. But why don't we start off? Where do you want to start first?
It's all, well, I was going to say it's all painful, but it's not all painful, actually. We want to just start with baseball and get it out of the way.
All right, baseball. Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, they're out.
They are out. Who did they lose to?
The Atlanta Braves.
The Atlanta Braves. You are correct. And Larry, how many runs did the Reds score in the playoffs? Zero.
Zero.
A big
None.
old goose egg. 22 innings and
Never
not
been
a
done.
single run.
Never
Nope.
been done before.
Never been done before.
No, not in the playoffs.
So now I'm going to root for the Braves to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
We'll see. If we can't win, what is it? If you can't beat them, join them.
Yep.
So I'm on the.
Not gonna happen. The Braves always choke in the playoffs.
I don't
The
think
Braves
so.
do have a
We'll
history
see.
of choking.
They do.
Melvin,
They
what do you
choke
got
in
for
the
us back
playoffs.
there?
I was going through the Sunday paper yesterday, and it wasn't no bragging, but they said like, yeah, we went on and beat the Reds, and we're sorry about it. So tell LA Dodgers we're ready for them too.
Okay. Well, Judy says it's not going to be the Braves.
Nope.
Who do you? Let's take a little vote. Go around the room. Who do you think is going to win the World Series? Let's start with Judy. We'll go around. Who do you think is going to win?
I'm going for the American League.
You got a specific team? Yankees?
No. Boo,
The
Yankees.
Yankees, the
No.
Rays.
Am I playing against
Did
the Reds?
Cleveland make it?
Cleveland got eliminated.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
Toronto got eliminated.
You tell me what's baseball, football?
Baseball.
Cleveland, Indians.
Indians got eliminated by the Yankees. Melvin, who do you think is going to win the World Series?
The Dodgers, you know how come? Because it's the second time the Dodgers have showed up. Last year they had the best record in baseball. Am I right?
Yeah.
So that's how come I'm gonna go with them this.
Larry, how about you?
Tampa Bay Rays.
Tampa Bay? Tony, who do you think? You got any thoughts?
I don't know who's going to win, Chris. I don't know.
That's a tough one. I'm rooting for the Braves. Although here's an interesting little nugget. The Miami Marlins went and beat Chicago
Yeah,
first two
the
games.
Cubs.
And it was just a year or two ago, Miami basically sold off their entire team.
Yep.
Derek Jeter takes over, I think, as the kind of head of the baseball operations, and
Yeah.
everybody's looking at him like, what are you doing? You just traded or got rid of all of our best players.
Yeah.
And I think he confidently was saying, look, we're going to try to
Rebuilding.
stay around. We're being in the playoffs. And I can't imagine he thought it was going to happen this
Just
quickly.
quickly, yeah.
But they beat the Cubs 2 games to none, and
That was
they're moving
amazing.
forward.
They
So
swept them.
kudos to Derek Jeter and Miami.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had it backwards, Chris, it was the Maryland's that said that, because they just got to dusting off Chicago, and they said like, tell the Dodgers that we gonna be ready for
You
them.
ready for him?
So I said like, guess who it's gonna be? It's gonna be the Dodgers.
You know what? If it's
Because
not,
the Rays is gonna knock off all the top competitors, but the Dodgers gonna be sitting this time.
well, if it's not the Braves, I'm rooting for the Marlins. How can you not root for a team that had over 100 losses? I
Right.
think multiple years in a row, or close, not over 100, close to 100 losses, and now they're in the playoffs and a shot to, maybe make it to the World Series if they win a couple more series. Michael, what you got?
They got out there behind the did something.
What's that?
They got out there behind and did something.
They did do
Just
something.
like that game yesterday with the Bengals.
We're gonna get to football in just a second. I know you want to talk football.
So
Anything else?
you're rooting for the Braves, but who are you picking?
Who am I picking? Wow.
I got to go with Melvin. The Dodgers look up.
I was gonna say I probably lean towards the
Dodgers are
Dodgers as well. And you can, $1 billion or whatever they spend on payroll. You can put me in charge, and I can put a team together to go to the World Series with that
Yeah.
kind of payroll.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. Well, we talked about movies last week, right? We're
Yeah.
going to get back to movies this week.
Yes,
Moneyball in your top 10?
Moneyball is.
Okay.
I really like Moneyball.
It was a good movie.
It was, how the Billy Bean and the
Yeah.
Oakland A's constructed their teams, and they were just always so. The Yankees just kind of would have their number at times, but they were so close to winning, winning it all, and doing it through what they call it, sabermetrics.
Yep.
And I found that fascinating.
Yeah, I need to. If I couldn't have Theo Epstein, I'd take the metrics away.
Oh,
I'd take Theo Epstein.
Oh, yeah,
He's pretty
definitely,
good.
yes, I would take Theo
That
Epstein,
movie Moneyball, is
definitely.
that based on a documentary?
It's based on the true story of how the Oakland A's kind of changed baseball, being a small market team, and how they use sabermetrics and analytics to try to find the right players for their team at the right price.
Baseball,
Let me talk to you.
based on,
In that
Yeah.
development of the movie, did they mention anything about vinyl glue?
I
Ooh,
remember
Vinyl
Vinyl
Blue.
Blue.
I don't know. That is a name from the past.
Oh, yeah.
He was a good
That's the
baseball
same-
player, though.
That's the same one the Reds beat them in the World Series. Vinyl Blue was in it.
Dodgers.
Yeah, I know.
So the Vinyl Blue story, a couple things with Vinyl Blue. One, he was an incredible pitcher for the
Yep.
Oakland A's back when they won
Oh, yeah.
3 World Series in a row.
Mhm.
And then here's what, I don't know if people remember this, but the Reds, I want to say in around 1975,
Yes.
76?
somewhere around there.
traded for Vida Blue. And the commissioner of baseball vetoed the trade and said it would create such a competitive imbalance that he would not allow the trade to go through. Basically, the A's were selling off, kind of like the teams do today, like the Miami Marlins did. The A's were selling off pieces. These guys are getting too expensive. And the Reds weren't really giving up a whole lot for Vida Blue. And you throw Vida Blue into the mix with the Big Red Machine.
Yeah.
The commissioner, to my understanding, said that it was going to create a competitive imbalance, and they vetoed the trade. So Oakland, I believe, traded him to the San Francisco Giants. I have to check that. And that was kind of the end of Vida Blue's career, whereas I think if he'd been with the Reds,
Yeah.
he'd have been a 20-game winner probably for
Oh, yeah.
a couple more years.
He
Oh,
retired.
yeah.
Yeah, he retired. This was back, he played back in the 70s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
old school.
So we did
Oh,
talk
yeah.
last week about your favorite baseball movie,
Yep.
and we were asking folks to kind of bring us a few of them. So I want to hear from all of you. Bill mentioned one, Moneyball. Favorite baseball movie?
Oh.
Judy, what do you have?
Oh, I got several, but two of my favorite are The Pride of the Yankees.
Oh, that's a
Gary
good one.
Cooper, right?
Yeah, Gary Cooper, he played Lou Gehrig.
Yep.
And it's a great story. And Field of Dreams. Love both of those.
Yep.
That's the epitome of baseball.
Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa.
Yeah, there's just so many great things. It just, the whole movie, it just surrounds the whole thing about baseball and the connection that people make with each other and make with the game and the players and it's just it's like a family movie, but yet it's also a baseball movie, and it's also it makes you think.
It's a great commentary on the generalization of baseball through
Yes,
family generations,
yes.
which is really neat.
And it also talks about when I think it was James Earl Jones gives that speech. They will come. And
If you build it, they will come.
yeah, if you build it, they will come. But then he starts talking about telling Ray why they're going to come. Why we need baseball. It talks about how the country it's helped build it back up, and it gets torn down, and it builds it back up, and it tells about how important it is actually fundamentally for this country, and how much it has really kept everything together.
And I
Very
thought
nice.
that's very
That's
nice.
very nice.
And I agree with that so much, and just not just baseball, but just sports in general. There's a lot of divide in this world and in this country, but I've always been a believer that one thing that can bring people together better than anything else is sports.
Yes.
Before we move on, I want to point out we have a vote for the Dodgers online. James, who's listening and watching online, he says the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. So
I think James is
I
right.
think James may be right, but we'll be able to talk about that in a few weeks from now. Michael, what do you have for a movie?
I got 3 people.
All right.
Babe Ruth's story,
Mhm.
the Jackie Robinson story,
That's a good one.
and what's that other baseball player? Lou Garrison, something like that.
Big
Oh,
Gary.
Lou Gehrig's story.
These go back in it. Now, Jackie Robinson broke the Baron, the color Baron.
Yes, he did.
Being a black African American on the team, even though Jackie Robinson played for the Rays, he broke a Baron down here.
Oh,
So-
Frank
Talking
Robinson.
about
Yeah.
Frank.
Yes.
Okay, they broke the racial barrier because back in them days they didn't really allow that to happen. Those are 2 legends.
They are legends, the 2
And
very
Lou
brave
Gehrig.
men because
And
they
Lou-
endured a lot.
Oh,
And Lou
yes.
Gehrig broke Babe Ruth's record.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if they made a movie about it. They probably did, but I can't recall. But those 2 movies was good. 3 movies was good. The Babe Ruth story, which is based on a true story, and Jackie Robinson, and what's that one?
Lou Gehrig.
Big Gary.
And Lou Gehrig.
Those are some good ones.
Did you see
Lou
the Jackie
Gehrig was
Robinson
a very
movie?
good
Chadwick
pitcher.
Boseman?
Yes.
Was he left-handed? Lou Gehrig?
Lou Gehrig was left-handed.
Yeah, that was the odd thing about him. He's a very good pitcher, left-handed and veteran. And he did a lot of contribution too.
That's
Back in
awesome.
them days, things was really rough in them days because you had color barons and you had all kinds of strategies that they wouldn't call for. So they donate their career to this history of baseball.
All 3 of those men in their own special way, a lot of courage.
Yes,
That's a
it was.
lot of courage.
Consider how
all 3
things
of them.
was back then. There was a lot of
Yeah.
courage.
Right.
And Lou Gehrig, battling the disease he faced, to Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier for baseball. Frank Robinson, I know endured here in Cincinnati. Really kind of breaking those barriers down here as well. And it
Lou
just,
Gehrig.
when I think of those 3 guys, I just think courage.
And what was the one that broke Babe Ruth's record? What's his name?
That was
Gehrig.
Roger Maris.
Roger Maris.
That's right. He was African American, right?
No,
No, he was not.
Well, who was the one that broke or tied up?
Hank Aaron broke the home
Big
run
Gary
record.
broke
He
the
broke the
home
home
run
run record. That's
Big
what I
Gary.
thought.
Melvin, do you have a favorite baseball movie you can think of?
Well, I don't have a favorite baseball movie, but I have certain events that happened in baseball, if y'all can remember it. Okay. This pitcher died last month.
Oh,
Steph, I can't pronounce it. I think it starts with an S.
Tom Seaver?
That's what I'm talking about. Nobody believed it, but he did pitch, I think, almost 9 innings. If the stitches in his ankle, it came loose. He was still pitching while he was bleeding. He was bleeding.
I think Kurt Schilling.
that was Kurt Schilling in the
That was
playoffs.
him. And
Tom Seaver doing that.
Tom Stever, that was him.
But there's also Kurt Schilling did that.
What?
Kurt
Tom Seaver was one of the greatest
Okay, I'm
pitchers
talking
of
about the one that
the
died last month.
60s and 70s.
That's Tom Seaver.
Yeah.
Okay, that's him. Because he was cut, because they had surgery on it and needed another bit. He still pitched. And they kept showing that he was bleeding down there, even though on the mound. So I'll ask people if they know anything about that. But I'm just saying for somebody to go through that. And here's the one that's been with me all these years. Do y'all remember when the Reds was playing St. Louis? They had a young pitcher. I think his name was Marcus Lucas or Marcus Woods, the youngest one on the team. Okay. They had St. Louis 2 games and nothing. Then Dusty Baker went into a seizure, so he went to the hospital, right?
He did go to the hospital.
I know that he said Lucas Woods would pitch that game. They tucked up and put what's the other guy's name? It's like a Tiger name or something.
Oh,
He's Stefani?
The other one.
Yeah.
Romano?
No, it's something like
Running out of a close to
Yeah.
Italian name.
Sarko.
Yeah.
Remember the other pitcher, he had a funny name like? Start with a Z.
I don't know.
Do you remember when we had the Dodgers? 2 games and nothing, he went into a seizure.
I
He
do
went to the
remember.
hospital. Okay, Sanquay,
not Berger.
Vader.
Berger Pizzazz.
No, almost like that.
Roberto, I know you're talking about.
That's the one they let pitch, but that ain't who he said. The one was 23 years old. His name was Lucas Woods.
Okay.
That's the one that he met for them to start the third game.
So we were to lose that game.
We lost. St. Louis came back and won 4 in a row.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about. Desky Baker went into a season. He was in the hospital. So they asked him if he wanted to pitch. But I know he said he wanted Lucas Woods. That's the little young pitcher.
no. Well, if we ever get Dusty on the show, we're gonna find out
There you go.
for you.
Yeah.
But
Hang on, I gotta get to Larry for a minute to get his movie.
San Cueto, I think I want to
There's Johnny Cueto back then.
Johnny Cueto.
Johnny
That's-
Cueto?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. I watch movies.
No movies?
No movies? Tony, how about you?
I don't know.
What about, anybody ever see Major League?
Yeah.
Oh, that
Don't
movie's
forget about the
great.
Big Red Machine.
That's
Yeah,
a really good
Lee
one.
Mays,
Mhm.
Yeah, Lee Mays, and all old
Oh,
players
yeah.
back on the Big
That
Red
was
Machine.
good.
That's when the game for the Red was the game that they won in 1976 World Series.
Major League, Charlie Sheen.
That would be Charlie Sheen. That was pretty good. Do you have a favorite one?
Probably Bull Durham.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
I feel
say
it.
that one too.
Yeah. I like Sandlot, but I wouldn't put it number one.
I like Sandlot.
I did a lot of just research in my head about my favorite baseball movies. And I gotta go back to, the very first baseball movie I saw. And it reminded me so much of the baseball teams I played on, the Bad News Bears. Now, I don't, you know,
Walter Matthau.
Walter Matthau was classic in it. Now, I will say, if you watch it, you have to be very careful because the language in that movie, the way they talked back then, is just so incorrect
Yeah.
in all facets of life today,
Yeah.
and just the words that they use.
Mm.
Yeah.
But when it comes to just kind of comedy, it was a funny movie. And so that one stood out because I love playing baseball in Little League, and I was always on the team that was like the worst team in the league, so I could relate to the
Bad
bad.
News Bears.
to the Bad News
Bears.
Bears.
Kids. They started out little brats and then became somebody.
Yep. And then the other one that comes to mind was I really did like Major League, but for a different reason. It's because there was this movie back in the early '80s, a movie called Can't Buy Me Love.
I remember.
Oh,
And
I've seen
Patrick
that.
Dempsey.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Major League who was in Can't Buy Me Love, kind of stocky guy with blonde hair. And I'm at a restaurant in Charleston, South Carolina, with my wife who's pregnant. And I look over and I see this guy. I don't know his name, but I said to my wife, I was like, "That's the Can't Buy Me Love guy." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Did you ever see that movie?" It was like, a classic in the '80s. She's like, "I never saw it." I said, "Well, how about Major League? He was in Major League." She's like, "Never saw it." I was like, "All right, I gotta leave this table. I gotta see if it's really him."
Table.
And she's like, "Don't bother." He's with some other guy talking. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going over there. So I go over to him. I'm like, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know his name. I'm like, "Hey, you want you to Can't Buy Me Love guy in the Major League catcher?" He's like, "Yeah, that's me." And so he actually invited me to sit down at his table and started talking for a few minutes about the movies. And he was down there filming a movie at that time.
That's fantastic.
And and I was like, I really got to get back to my pregnant wife before she leaves me because I'm spending way too much time over here chatting with you. But for that reason, that was one of my favorite movies.
What about
Very
this
nice
movie,
guy.
Chris?
Did you get his name?
Chris,
He told me back then, but I don't remember it now.
Chris, what about this movie? Everybody got that phrase, "Show me the money."
Oh yeah, that's a football
It's
movie.
a football movie.
That's Jerry Maguire.
And one is about this he started off a water boy, and he became a football player. He was kind of retarded. You know what I'm
Are you
talking
talking about
Yeah.
you?
Rudy?
That's
That's the
the
water boy.
Water Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you
We're
talking
gonna
about-
talk
you talking about the
football
Water
movies
Boy?
on another day.
The water boy or the radio. Radio was Hubert Gooden, and the water boy was
Oh yeah,
I think it was the same one, wasn't it?
that was
I
the
think
Water
his name
Boy
was
was Adam
Rudy, wasn't it?
Sandler.
It was who?
Yeah.
Adam
sure.
Sandler played the Water
Oh,
Boy.
they showed it in real life. Yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr. I forgot about the movie Radio. That was a good
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
That was good.
that was good.
But we'll save football movies for a topic on another day.
Did you ever see For Love of the Game?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
That
Kevin
was a long time
Costner.
ago.
Yeah.
That was a good
I
one.
like
That was a good one.
I like that one too.
Well, I think these guys may have helped us switch gears to football.
They
They slid over to
It's been
football
done.
movies on us. So what do we have in here in the chat?
Amanda says her favorite baseball movie was Sandlot. And she said, what about Field of Dreams? Which
Yeah.
we love.
And I always did love the line in the movie, Field of Dreams, was it, Dad, you want to have a catch?
You want to have a catch.
And I just love it because my son and I, whenever he said, Dad, you want to go out and toss baseball? I doesn't matter what I'm doing, I drop what I'm doing, I'll go out there and toss baseball.
Yeah, that was a real hard.
So Tony, did you watch the Bengals game? We're going to talk Bengals for a minute.
Yeah, man, she beat Jacksonville at home.
Yeah, beat Jacksonville at home.
It's about time.
It was a good win for the Bengals.
Yeah, it's about time.
Who do you think was the MVP yesterday?
I don't know. Who do you think, Chris?
I'm going to lean towards Joe Mixon.
They got to.
He had over, I think, 150 yards rushing.
151.
And Larry, how many touchdowns did Joe Mixon have yesterday?
Yeah, against the Bengals.
I don't know.
Was it 3?
Three.
That is correct.
2 rushing, 1 catching.
Yep. And the offensive line played well. Joe Burrow seemed to have a little more time. Joe Burrow looked really
We didn't
good.
get sacked this time.
Yeah, gave up 1 sack compared to 8, right?
Yeah.
Defense had, I know they had an interception.
Yep.
And seemed to be playing okay. So,
Yeah.
and we got Baltimore next week.
And the Baltimore Ravens.
So that's
Oh,
going to be a
you
little
talking about
tougher.
the Bengals?
A little tougher challenge, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now the odds, and we playing Baltimore,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Baltimore
that's a good
Ravens.
team.
That is a good.
We barely got out of this team. The one we was playing at, what was their name?
Oh, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jackson.
Yeah, they came back, see, they know Cincinnati, we known for that. We lead off, and they don't got hit to our little comeback sneak attack there. We'll lead off, we get them points, and next thing you know, boom, we get the penalty flag again, so next thing you know, that's when they make that little move to make a comeback. Now, the team yesterday, with 30-16, Jaguars came up. I said, well, if they get a field goal, they can tie that score. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. That's why that didn't come in time. But they hit the Cincinnati comeback. Cincinnati's known for a sneak attack. We lose or we lead off, but they known for a little sneak attack. Or we come back bouncing and get a couple points on either we tie the score or we lose the game.
I'll tell you what I liked yesterday out of the Bengals was, they didn't take their foot off the pedal. Even though they had a lead, they at the end of the game, they kept getting
We
first
know for
down,
that. We know.
grinding the clock down.
Yeah.
And that was good to see because they struggled to do that against the Eagles the week before.
Yeah.
And they lost to them.
Well, we
They
lost
ended with a tie, yeah.
Yeah, it's our
One game, it was a tie.
Yep.
Then they skunked that field goal player. He was about to make that field goal, and he got skunked.
Yep.
And he didn't make that field goal, and that team went on.
Yeah,
I
what
said,
about
we
that?
Hey,
Could have,
I
signed
just
up
want to
for
mention
Chargers.
something to you, Chris.
What's that?
If it's my misunderstanding, then I apologize.
What's that?
I thought you said they got rid of that kicker.
He got hurt, and they signed another kicker just in case if
Okay.
he couldn't kick in the Cleveland game.
Because
So they didn't get rid of him. They signed somebody just in case if he didn't get better. But he's done a good job.
he sure did. He didn't miss nothing.
Yeah. And he's done a good job the last couple of years. So it just was a fluke thing that, in that kick against the Chargers,
It looked like he lost a
he
little
hurt
weight.
himself. Because, when you watch the balls come off his feet,
Yeah, just like that.
they're rock solid.
Right.
But on that one kick, you can tell he strained or hurt something,
Right.
and the ball sailed right. It's just unfortunate timing. Really.
Really bad.
when we played against the Cleveland Browns, we could have took that. But see, think about it, that old Mary up there in Cincinnati, Mary got a little bet on that chili thing, so you know how that game went. They could have took the Browns because they don't beat them before.
Here's my thing that everybody always wants to blame the kicker. When a kick gets missed at the end of the game, I've always been a believer it's a team sport, and the kicker should never have had to be in that position anyway, because either the offense could have done more or the defense could have done more.
Could have stepped up, right, Chris?
Yeah, that's true.
Don't you agree with that, Tony?
Yeah, they can step up to the plate, right?
That's right.
That's right.
But in those
That's right.
circumstances, this is
That's
that
right.
was our
That's
option.
right.
We was already. They came back and got that one touchdown and made it 22-30. So our option was to get that one episode in with that field goal, and that was moved by breaking. Because they could have tied that game.
Yeah.
They definitely could have tied that game.
Melvin, what you got?
I think the Bengals played a good game when they played Philly.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Foot off for Eagles.
Because they had to play a good game. Did you see Philly play yesterday?
They won last night.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, the
And the
Eagles.
Bengals they had to put up a tussle with the Bengals. You see what I'm saying? So I said they played real good. So I ain't worried about Sunday because I know they get ready to pull some of the players that we ain't heard no more about, like Tate and all them boys. They all gonna be right there. So they might just blow out. They might just blow
This is-
out.
this is-
I'm very bullish
This is
on
option.
Steve Melvin is very bullish on him. And
No,
Lamar
so-
Jackson, if you're watching,
Hey,
Melvin says Ravens are going down.
that's
They
right.
don't have a chance to
Hey,
Yes,
get
this is
this
I'm
down.
telling you,
This is
watch.
option.
If Jackson start running, watch and see don't Burrow start running.
This is
Okay.
option.
Yes, he will.
This the option. We going, this the preseason for the playoff. We bypass without getting anything messed up on this. We make that playoff. Because a couple of times we made the playoff, but we flunked it. A couple of times. It was a bad season.
Well, right now, unfortunately, we're in a very tough division because
Yeah.
what the Steelers, I think, are undefeated.
Pittsburgh still,
The
that's the
Ravens
team.
are 3-1,
Bills.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
and the
Bears.
Browns are 3-1. So we're in a
Yeah.
tough
Bears.
division. But if we beat Baltimore,
Ravens.
you're right back in the middle of it.
That's right.
That's right, that's what I'm saying. That's the
It's a
test
shame
right
we can't be in the division of Bill's favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
there you
don't say
go.
that.
Right now, the first place team in that division is the
Don't say that
Philadelphia
no more, Chris.
Eagles with their first win of the season yesterday. So
Mhm.
they're 1-2-1.
Mhm.
Dallas is 1-3.
Mhm.
Washington is 1-3.
What
And the
about
Giants, who are 0-4, only a game and a half
What
behind.
about Kansas City?
Why can't we be in that division?
Like
Yeah.
it well, right?
What
The
about the,
Chiefs are in a different division. They're I believe, still undefeated.
what about
You
the
know,
Kansas
Dallas-
City Chiefs?
Oh, wait, Tony's got something here.
what about the Packers?
The Packers are undefeated too, and they play this evening against the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, they put the Falcons.
Yes. Melvin?
Okay, don't y'all remember the Chargers? The Bengals played the Chargers?
I remember that game.
All right. Well, look, the Chargers is the one that had Kansas City beat
Yeah.
16-0. I think 16-6 all the way up into the fourth. They came back and won.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So Kansas City, they can be beat.
They can be
They ain't
beat.
worried about nothing. But like I said, the Bengals gonna improve every week. And everybody gonna say, wait a minute, you mean them guys gonna be? We ain't worried about Pittsburgh them, because somebody else take care of that other player, that other team for us, just like the Reds. How the Reds get in the playoffs? Because that team beat that other team for us. And the other team beat that other team. And we won. That's
Yeah.
how we got in the playoffs.
But see,
But we just couldn't score a run in that first game.
That's true.
See what I'm
But
saying?
now, when we get in that playoff,
Oh,
Well, I'm gonna
This
throw a
one-
little,
this-
I'm gonna
this
throw a
one-
little trivia at you for a
Okay.
minute here, okay?
All
A
right.
little football trivia. So, yesterday, Joe Burrow set a record for the most consecutive games by a rookie,
yeah, we see.
300-yard passing.
300 games. 300
So, what I want to know is who holds the rookie record for the most passing yards
Chris
in the
Collinsworth.
season? Who-
That's
You
back
mean
in the
this
day.
year?
Chris Collinsworth was a
This
rookie
year?
too.
No, just in the history of the NFL. Who has the most passing yards as a rookie?
They didn't win a Super
I was gonna say Chris
He
Collinsworth.
did
but
not win a Super Bowl. Which quarterback?
Oh,
Yeah, since-
Tom
since the
Brady.
Bengals.
Nope.
Tom
Tom
Brady.
Brady's a good guess, but he does not have the rookie record.
Oh,
playing the AFC.
He did play in the AFC. And,
You ain't talking about Cunningham, are you?
nope. He played in the AFC and his name is not Peyton Manning.
Oh,
But he might have played on a team that Peyton Manning played on.
I think I know who he is, but I don't know his name.
Are you
He
talking about
retired about 2 years ago
You played for Denver?
due to injuries. No, this
I
gentleman,
know who you talking about. He has
this
a lot of
gentleman played
injuries.
for the Indianapolis Colts.
I know who you talking about. I can't think of his
And his
name.
father was an NFL quarterback.
Oh, you ain't talking about Luck.
Stanford.
He did go to Stanford.
Okay.
Do you know his name?
I do know his name.
And what would that
Who
name
is
be?
he?
I think it's Andrew Luck.
It would be Andrew Luck.
Oh, okay.
Andrew Luck sets the record for the most passing yards as a rookie. Very good, very good.
That's a good question.
Let me throw one more out at you because Joe Burrow has a chance. If he gets all 16 games in, stays healthy, keeps playing the way he does, he could break that record. There's another record he could break. Most passing touchdowns by a rookie quarterback. This was just recently set I think 2 years ago. Who set the rookie record for the most passing touchdowns? It's not Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning had that record and it was broken by this guy.
Is he from Cincinnati or somewhere else?
He is not from Cincinnati, but he is in the AFC. And I'll give you another hint if you can't figure it out. He's in the AFC. He was a rookie just a couple years ago. He does a lot of commercials now.
Oh,
Where his home is a stadium.
Yep.
I think I know what you're talking about. He does a commercial.
Don't even have to leave.
What kind of commercials? Is it like cars commercials or whatever?
Well, let me give you another hint. He plays for a team in the same division as the Bengals, and even in the same state as the Bengals.
He on the Cleveland Brown team?
So he's on the Who's the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns right
That's
now?
what I thought, and I think I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of his name. He does commercials too a lot.
He
He
does.
get paid for it too, but I think I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of his
Anybody
name.
think of his name?
I can't think of his name. But
Well,
he
that's
does-
good that they don't know his name because then it shows that they're not Cleveland fans.
Yeah.
They from
No,
Cincinnati
well-
were Cincinnati fans.
Yes.
Baker Mayfield.
Jeez.
Baker Mayfield had 27 touchdown passes.
So since we brought up Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns, can we talk about Cowboys for a minute?
We can't.
Yes,
That's
you
what they
said.
had to.
Yeah, I think I got the Cowboys season figured out. If they could just join the SEC, I think they'd be all right.
You okay?
Yeah. No defense, right?
Yeah.
No offense.
Score a lot of
Well, you know,
points.
I think they can score a lot of points in
The
the SEC.
Dallas Cowboys and yeah, back in the day, the Dallas Cowboys, that was a very good team. You had the Green Bay Packers, that's a very good team. Then you had Joe Namath of the Jets. That was a very good team. Then you had Los Angeles Rams before they changed their little division, but those are back in the day, some old teams back then. They was hot. They were super hot.
The Cowboys made the Browns look like Kurt Warner-led Rams team, didn't they?
Jeez.
Greatest show on turf.
I'm gonna put on my serious hat for a minute
All right.
Oh,
with the
okay.
We're
Cowboys.
going to see what's wrong here.
Yeah, I'm
Under the
gonna
hood.
tell you what's wrong under the hood.
All right.
Okay, it's the same issue that they've had for many years now.
And it'll be,
I think Jason Garrett was a really good coach, especially as a coordinator, but as a head coach, to be kind of as a head coach, you've got you have to have this certain kind of it factor to you, the Jimmy Johnsons of the world, and some of those guys have to take a team like Dallas to, you can be a successful coach at a lot of places, but to be the head coach in Dallas, you've got to have the it factor because
Yeah.
every time you play somebody, they're going to give you their best
Yeah.
because you are the Dallas Cowboys, and that's what happened yesterday. And, on paper, there's really, I don't think, a comparison. Dallas has way more talent, much more talent than Cleveland. But Cleveland, they brought their A game, and Dallas wasn't prepared for that. And Jason Garrett was a really good coach, but I just don't think he had the it factor to take them to the next level. The hiring of Mike McCarthy. I know he won a Super Bowl in Green Bay, but again, you're talking Dallas Cowboys, America's team, and he's been out of football for a little while as a coach. I think he's a really good coach, but I don't know if he's got that it factor to take them to the next level.
The only
That you
thing
need.
I can come up with after 4 games is the coach. That's the problem that I see. They've got the talent. They've got plenty of talent, and they've got plenty of talent on defense not to give up 40 points.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Before you necessarily point fingers at the head coach, I mean, to me, the buck stops with the head
Well,
coach.
yeah,
But what's going on with the defensive coordinator?
I'm
They
not-
can't stop anything.
I'm not advocating changing the coach. I think it'll be
No.
fine. I think that's the
I'm
problem.
not either yet, but I'm saying if you're seeing the same things happening in year 2 and year 3, you've just repeated the Jason Garrett era all over again because you hired the coach
Yeah.
that didn't have that sort of it factor to them. But I like Mike McCarthy. I think he's
Great.
I like Jason Garrett too, and I think he's going to do a great job in New York. But a lot of times you take a job in Dallas, and it's the premier coaching job, and you've got to have, I think, the Tom Landry, Jimmy Johnson type personality to do
Yes.
that. And what stood out with those guys was A, their leadership, and B, you knew who was running the team. At times with Jason Garrett's team, was Des Bryant running the team? Was Tony Romo running the team? Who was running the, he wasn't always to be that central leadership figure.
Yep.
And and I don't know if Mike McCarthy is established as, so it's kind of
It doesn't look like
you gotta
it
be
yet.
you gotta be the alpha. The coach has to be the alpha in that group.
Right. It is not.
Mike, what do you want to say?
I'm gonna accept this. We need a new owner because Mike Brown ain't nothing like his daddy.
We're not going there yet. Joe Burrow, and we're going to keep it positive and optimistic. We'll
I'm
see
gonna
what
say
happens.
Mike Brown ain't nothing like his daddy. His daddy was a good product,
I
good
got,
product.
when it comes to sports, I got a good extensive view on certain football teams, on the momentum and everything. But I see how come Dallas could now play the Browns because they got banged up when they played Seattle. You see what I'm saying? And then the concept about the Browns was too high. They thought they would run over them, but it wasn't like that. But believe me, when the playoffs get ready to come, watch and see them Dallas be already ready.
Ain't no doubt.
Cause
I'm gonna-
look, I know he already talked to
I
him.
really want to
That
believe
man ain't, hey, Jones ain't nothing to play.
Well,
He come down, he tell him like, hey, if you miss another field goal, you get out. And he don't be playing.
Mm-mm.
See what I'm
that's
saying?
where I was actually going to go next, because I have one other option about the Dallas Cowboys. And it ties back to the owner, who, clearly phenomenal businessman, and what he's done with that team has been incredible. But, and this is just me putting on a different perspective hat here. And they haven't won a Super Bowl since, what, Barry Switzer?
96.
Barry Switzer took over for Jimmy Johnson, who was basically they won 3 out of 4, and Barry won it with Jimmy's team.
Yep.
So I kind of think that Jerry Jones, with the coaches that he has hired,
Mm-hmm.
when I talk about the alpha, there's one alpha in the Dallas Cowboy organization,
Oh, absolutely.
and that is Jerry Jones.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But when you had Tom Landry that Jerry had to fire, and you had Jimmy Johnson, I think all of a sudden Jerry realizes I'm not the lone alpha. Jimmy's the other alpha,
Well, that's why he brought in Barry.
and was still able to win. But since that time, whatever coaches he's brought in are not of the same personality, and Jerry can kind of oversee them. Where it was Jerry and Jimmy had to coexist at the same alpha level.
Yep.
But now it's Jerry's here, although anybody he's hired since then clearly is.
I agree. It's a very good point. Who
Hey,
is coaching
but-
now that would fit that role?
But
And
isn't
again, I
it,
don't want to get rid of Mike,
And I don't either know.
but who's the
Hey,
one that would fill that role?
Well, he's not coaching right now,
Belichick.
but Belichick was, but actually, I was going to say Bill Cowher.
Okay.
He's been out of coaching for a while. I think would have been, and I don't know what his interest is in coaching, but would have been a fantastic hire.
Mhm.
And I think has that personality, and obviously has the ability with all the success of the Steelers to lead a team like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's had a great broadcasting career, and I don't know if he would ever
hey,
be
Chris,
doing that.
now you remember Jones and them was all there when they built the stadium and everything, the biggest scoreboard in the world, I guess, in the United States. Don't y'all realize that even though he's not really there, that he's still strongly instrumental when things change over there?
Oh, he's calling all the shots.
That's what I'm saying.
No
But
question.
he ain't been put on display, but he's over there instrumental. Tell them like, I want it done like that, please.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So I still think he over there. Like I said, get ready to come to playoffs, Dallas gonna be ready. That's a team. Y'all ain't hip to that team. That team really inflicts pain. Because anytime that the quarterback gets sacked that many times, that defense ain't doing right. That offense ain't doing right. And all that's gonna be corrected. Because he got a good quarterback in there.
I think the other coach that can do the coaching now would be John Gruden.
I think agree.
He went to the Raiders, and that's not an easy place to coach either. And he's had, he's starting to have some success there. But he's one of those guys that
He's the one.
he's the voice of the franchise.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Bill,
Exactly.
I saw the
So,
Raiders
Bill.
play yesterday too. I thought they had
Who was that?
the Raiders play against, I forget who they played, but
Buffalo.
Yeah.
it was a good team.
Buffalo's
Kept climbing
scoring.
back in it, and he stopped
what's going on, Bill?
slipping up.
Going on, Bill.
We do a quick transition from NFL
Two,
to
basketball?
basketball. We are in the finals of the NBA. And Larry, who's playing? Is it the Lakers and the Heat?
Yes.
Is that right? Does anybody know what the score is in the series? How many games to how many? Melvin?
Two games to one. The
Two games
score
to one.
last night was 115 to 104.
All right. So the Lakers are winning 2-1 over the Heat. And but the Heat won last night.
Yep.
As I said to Bill, I think Jimmy Butler scored like 100 points. It was basically Jimmy Butler against the Los Angeles Lakers.
Hey, that's what it seemed like. That's what they talking like. That's how they talking. That's exactly how they talking.
So as you know, I went out on a limb last week and I said that the Heat were going to win. And I looked pretty silly after 2 games. It was 2-0.
They were 2 rough games.
But they won yesterday, so I'm keeping my fingers
They did
crossed.
without 2 starters.
They did. Now, hopefully they'll get one of these guys back.
Are they, I don't even know if they are or not.
I'm hoping Bam will be back.
Hey, that's pretty good to play that good without your 2 starters. Just think they pop up out of nowhere and play in that other game. Or if the Heat beat them the next game. Oh, Lord, it's going to be like, can they beat them? I think they're going to get to the head like, man, we can beat them like 2 in a row. We can beat them 2 more.
I think the next game's gonna be the best game by far so far
I do too.
because the Heat does think they can go out there and win any
If
game.
they go and tie it up,
They have a specific pattern too. It is slow, not real slow, but slow enough that everybody come down and set up. They did it 2 times, come down and fired it and missed the 3, so that makes the Lakers get the rebounds. You know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden they slowed down with everybody get out, then they shot it, got the rebound back and laid it up. You see what I'm saying? So I looked at all that, significantly, because I say if you combine all that together, the Lakers ain't gonna beat them the next time.
but I think if the Heat went out and got our old buddy Kevin Johnson and maybe Troy Copain,
Troy Copain.
take them to the next level. They need some Bearcats on that team.
Hey, did
To
you
fill
hear
in
me?
for these injured
Did you
guys.
hear what Butler was telling the lady, the sportcaster? She said, well, we know you're going to get out here and try to beat him. He said, we is going to beat him. He said it every game. We is going to beat him. We don't worry about losing. We going to win. And that lady couldn't hardly say very much when that game was over. She said, y'all did it. He said, what did I tell you?
Jimmy Butler has made a huge name for himself in this series so far. He's pretty much showing what he's been saying for years.
He
He
kept
belongs
saying,
at the top tier.
Which makes me question the Philadelphia 76ers and how they couldn't do more when they had not just Jimmy Butler, but they had the very tall center
Joel
Joel.
Embiid.
Yep, and then they had Ben Simmons at the guard, and then they even traded for the power forward from the Clippers. His name's escaping me right now, but that gentleman had been an All-Pro before.
I know you're talking about, I just don't know his name. Yeah,
Yeah.
they look real good.
And they had 4 guys who are all NBA type players, and they didn't throw their JJ Redick as a shooting guard, and couldn't get to the NBA Finals.
Well, you see what they did last year? It started out real strong. Then that, I think it's either a power forward or that power center. He's from Africa. Yeah, the one that shoot 3-pointers. They had a center that shoot 3. He got hurt, and then it slowly went on down the drain.
But injuries are a part of the game. I mean, even with injuries, that team still had. You take one of those guys out of the mix, you still got 3 All-Star caliber players. Lakers only have 2 All-Stars.
Yeah, especially
He
LeBron
had
James, man.
Jimmy Butler and
Oh, yeah, Jim
a
LeBron,
good
LeBron
team.
James.
You're right. LeBron James is.
LeBron.
He's probably worth a couple All-Stars.
Yeah.
Same with Anthony Davis.
LeBron.
You're right about that.
Hey, I keep forgetting their name, but they come to me when they be playing. But I think they got similar names. But Buffalo ain't by himself. He got 3 Caucasian guys. 2 point guards. They're so sharp. It's all on the news this morning. They were doing like this. That's how that guy looked when he made the point, because he didn't think he was going to make it. He went all the way around him, laid it up, and came back like that in slow motion. Real mean. And everybody said, how come he looking? If you see that move that he put on dude up under the basket, you would say the same thing. Because every time they get the ball, they come down, score. They get the ball, come down, score. And then every time, Butler made a shot on LeBron James. LeBron James did like this. Bam, real hard on the ball like that. Like he couldn't believe it.
You're amazing.
They were scoring consistently. See, that's what they got to watch out for. They got that extra
Charisma.
move.
Yeah.
That's what they got. And it's hard to beat a team like that.
He
Even
jumped
though,
out.
you know, the media got you jacked all the way up, they expect you to perform the way they got you jacked all the way up. But when you got somebody like that's real fast and go in between, that's what they're doing, in between the big guy. And then when they did collide, the foul was on them. They had them already in foul trouble. Because Butler is the one who was doing all the free throw.
Not only is Butler doing all the work, I think I read about a month ago, Jimmy Butler selling coffee down in the bubble for like $20.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Chris. I forgot about that.
Well, clearly Jimmy doesn't need the money. I think he's making plenty, but I just thought that was so neat that he's down there selling coffee.
Oh, yeah.
I did think of the other 76er, Tobias Harris is his name. A really good small forward, power forward.
They can build good. They did. I know the media gonna blow it up before tomorrow. You can have it blown all up.
Well, by the time we get to next week's show, we may have it determined as to who wins the basketball.
Did you see that Jimmy Butler, he scored 40 points in the game last night? And he's the first player to score 40 points without hitting a three in almost 20
Oh, he
years.
did that without a 3-point. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Shaq was the last one
Wow.
who
And it
did it.
took what's your
2002,
name?
I think.
It took Davis a long time to take one shot.
Yeah,
He's like he wasn't gonna
just
try to
off
take
all
that.
night.
But we'll see. I'd love to see you get the 2 games to 2 because then it'll make for a very interesting series.
We're talking about coaches. I don't think that he would be here without Eric Spoelstra as the coach.
I don't
I
know.
think he could take that talent, and he's about the only one who can do what he's doing with it.
Yeah, I've been a believer that you have a good coach who can take a group of players as a team, can defeat in most occasions a team that is comprised of individual talent and all-stars. And that could be what Philadelphia's problem was, is that they had a group of really good individual talents, but you bring them together and they just never gelled as
You're
a
gonna
team.
pull it off.
It takes a good coach to pull that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna pull it off.
But like you
We
said,
will
like you
see.
said before, Chris, remember? We can be, everybody got talent. You dig what I'm saying? But I'm saying we all play collective ball. And it ain't no one person just taking care of business. Well, this is what the Heat was doing. They were so good and collective. But what they go way over here, throw the ball way over across the corner, and they were shooting them 3 points, man up. The Lakers couldn't believe it. I was watching everybody's image. It was like, and then it's almost like it's just a moment of time before they do like this. Who's checking him? Who's checking? But it wasn't. You can tell the way they take the ball out. Look, it was like, you know, everything was slow, like they were stunned that these people could really play like that.
Yeah, it's a shame those of you
Yeah,
watching online cannot see Melvin because he's demonstrating the moves, which is great to see. Thank you for demonstrating,
That's
Melvin.
what I do, because I noticed, like, look, when they get ready to take the ball out, the ball already in. They're halfway down court. Then all of a sudden I said, don't shoot that ball, Jerry, gotta get out. You know, I say to myself, then all of a sudden you like, wait until they come. Then they go to that run. You know, back and forth. Everybody looks so relaxed, man. Especially the 2 little point guards. They know they're good. They know they shot, just like Kid. Kid was sitting there. Kid was sitting right there now. Because I think he was the Lakers, yeah. He was sitting right, he couldn't believe it.
It was amazing.
Huh?
It was amazing.
Oh, yeah. That's how come I already know. It's going to be hard to stop the Heat.
Did you see after the game, LeBron James walking off the court?
Yeah.
Just really quickly.
Hey, it can hurt you.
Yeah.
Not hurt you, but it can make you like wake up. Like he couldn't even pull off his armband right. He was
Yeah.
that shocked.
He was mad.
That's right, that's
He
right.
got off to a 10 or 11 point lead in the first quarter, and the Lakers came back and hit a 3 at the end of the first. He cut
Yeah,
the 3.
I paid attention to
They
that
were
too.
walking off the court, and Jimmy Butler said that LeBron looked at him and said, "You're in trouble now."
No,
I
that's
don't
what
think
it,
it's
hey,
that well with LeBron.
hey, that's what we seen almost at the end of the game. In slow motion, you could read this.
Yep.
They got
Yep.
trouble now. That's what he really saying.
I did see something online that somebody was talking trash. I didn't know what that was
Yeah,
about, but that's what
yeah.
it was. Okay.
Which is
Oh,
rare.
That's a beautiful game. But they're making money for the network. You know that. Because, I mean, they look good. I mean, they're taking all the pictures that we don't see. They already took them over again. Probably stuck them in the paper. I probably don't have them on the news for the night, sports, you know. But they both look good. But I can't wait to talk because I know the boys going to put out a good performance better than the other day. Because they look good. Yes, they did.
Well, we only got a couple minutes left. I got one little takeaway from today that we used to do with the old show, which was kind of a life lesson from John Wooden. So one of the life lessons that I don't think we got to previously was a life lesson of gratitude. And basically, gratitude is essential for a peaceful heart and a balanced life. To create a daily habit of taking a moment of solitude to humbly express gratitude for the great many blessings of this life. Let others know why you're grateful for them. Let Thanksgiving be the narrative of your life. So that's my kind of the takeaway I wanted to give for folks today.
I like
It was
that.
great. I did too. I thought, you know
Let
what?
Thanksgiving be the narrative of your life. That's nice.
And kind of the day and age we're in now where there's just so much bad news, we forget that we still have a lot to be thankful. Yeah. Michael, what do you want to say?
I think on that phrase, you can take life for granted too much and don't be thankful at the same time.
I
You
think
just take life too much for granted.
you're correct about
And
that.
don't be thankful, don't appreciate it, and don't respect what you just gained and how you came about getting it. You can take life for granted very much. They can slip out the door easy because you're not really thankful for what you did.
I think that's very well put. Thank you, Michael. Melvin?
I could put one structure to that word you say and say something directly in response. Gratitude is a form of authentic appreciation.
That's right.
It's a great.
Very
way to
good.
say
That
it.
was a great
And
way.
see, you say the same thing I do. You take life for
I did not, you know what? We should have turned the camera this way and put these guys to lead the
Hey, I don't know
show.
what you saying. He said the same thing
Very
I'm
nice.
saying.
Yep.
You take life for granted, but you appreciate what you took for granted. And that's why I can slip out. You can go out the front door, but at least you're going out the front door. You're going out the back door because you're not taking it for granted. You're not appreciating what is coming your way. It's
Very
a
well
gift.
said.
That's very well said.
It's
It's a
a
gift.
Melvin?
You know what? When I get around my kids, like my kids, my twins is 20, I think 24. My youngest daughter, she's 22. But when I get around my kids, I've been like keeping the focus on them developing and my staying sober. That I done forgot how I aged through all these years. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm right in here. Believe it or not, I'm right in here, and we all right here with the new generation. That's what it is right now.
New world order.
That's what it is.
New
It's
world order.
self-explanatory. The new order. You know, it seems like it's something behind them, pushing them. So when I say the new generation, well, I know what what do you call that? The fountain of youth.
Yeah.
You'll always find God.
I had on
You
to it
always
too.
find him right there, but you can't see it. And he know exactly which way to go. Because when I look at a child, I see nothing but pure light in there. In order to make it expand, you got to bring it up right. And this generation is different. This new generation is different. I've been in the presence of it. And this guy was talking about his father. He was like, yeah, he came in like, he been out all night, and he's going to come in and tell his mom to fix him something to eat, or he going to do that. He said, the next time he come in and talk to mom, he showed it back. So I'm going to bust his whole head. And there's something else too about this new generation. If you don't take care of them while they're young, they will not like you when they grow up.
It's all about respect and unity.
That's true. Yes, it is. It is
All
true.
about respect
It's so
and
true
unity.
that all you gotta do is look at the ones young in the NBA, all these sports. First thing they do, buy their mama a big ass house. You know, yeah, a big house. That's what I'm saying. Make sure they buy big. Everybody.
I wanted to wait a minute. I got a question. How come whenever they go onto the camera, it's always, thank you, mama, love you, mama. What about the dads? What is the dad? I told my son if he's ever on TV and sports and he gives a shout out to his mama and doesn't give one to me, I'm coming down there for it. I'm gonna come out onto the field.
You keep it good. You're right.
Take your bitches, right, Chris?
Chris.
Yep.
Mom's
Right,
gonna
Chris?
come first. Dad come number two.
Right, Chris?
Mom gonna come first.
I know,
Dad
mom does come
two.
number one. But dad shouldn't be left completely out of the
He's not
equation.
nothing that. See, this is what they say.
Right, Chris.
They say
Right, Chris.
they giving gratitude to both parents.
Right,
They
Bill.
just like put it up front.
That's right.
They putting it out there. Mom, I thank you. I love you. Then, Dad, I love you and all you did for me. They talking about both of them. Just got to read between the lines. They talking about both parents. Because they didn't get that way for the way mom like did what she did and dad did what they did, but it's all good because they're all in the family.
Hey, Chris, see, they don't tell the other side now. See, it's like this. They like, he said like, okay, I'm gonna buy you that house, Mom. I hope you like it. Then all of a sudden they come down. Tell him, buy me that car. You know, and then the mama tell him like, hey, you forgetting about your dad?
Yeah.
Get in that car right there. You don't want to get in that car.
So mom gets the house, dad gets the car.
See, back then-
Yes, no, she always knows she the one always tell the son what to get it.
Yeah.
The one always tell me to get it because it always seems like she get me lost. But no, it'd be her telling him really what to do.
All right, last thing, and then we're gonna give Bill the final word. So Bill, you got 1 minute to think of the final word.
It's like this, Chris. Back then it was that bad. You gonna tell it was if you want anything, go with the mom. Go ask your father. It's a whole new generation now. Mom is a priority now.
Well, and the other thing too, is I know a lot of athletes are raised by single parents, and it's usually a single mom.
Yeah.
So I totally get that, but every once in a while, it'd be nice to hear that the dad get a little shout out.
My dad gonna get a little short, but it ain't gonna be that much. But he gonna give us. It's really, if you really don't read between the lines, it's both of them. It's both of them. It's just that the way they doing it.
And speaking
it's
of
a single
shout out,
mom thing.
I'm gonna give a shout out to all the single moms out there for all the hard work, love, and great job that they do raising kids when they are single parents.
Very nice.
Good.
That's the
Very
backbone.
nice.
Well, we gotta wrap it up. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I have a question for everybody for next time.
Go ahead.
We talked about baseball films this time, so let's open it up to just sports movies next time.
Okay.
What do you think?
Sports movies in
Oh,
general.
okay.
Top 3 or 4 or 5 sports movies.
Hey, I got one at home. Would it be good to look at this weekend?
Hold on to that.
You gotta save it for next week. You gotta save it for next. We're gonna talk about it next week. We gotta run because we are out of time.
Okay,
Hey, Chris.
Appreciate all you. Speaking of gratitude, I'm
Yeah.
grateful all of you are here with us today and spending time with us. So thank
Hey,
you.
Chris,
Thank you guys very much.
Chris, I got a movie. It's a DVD movie with what's his name? Mayweather. When you fight that one dude.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I got all